This is the third and final session on sparring fundamentals in our Skills and Drills video series. When I first designed the outline for this YouTube Skills and Drills series, my goal was simply to introduce some of the many aspects of Taekwondo, the world's most popular martial art. Well, in my personal opinion, which is shared by many Taekwondo practitioners all throughout the world, the most dynamic aspect of Taekwondo training is, of course, sparring. Now that we've established a baseline of understanding for basic kicks, attacks, and even counterattacks, I'd like to cover in this session some of the basic rules and guidelines for recreational style sparring. As a former competitor, I know that there are many different rules related with competition style sparring worldwide. However, in this session, I'll be covering 5 basic rules for recreational style sparring and 3 common scenarios that you see virtually in every round of sparring. Let's begin. For rule number 1, at the beginning and end of every sparring match, we face our partner and we give our sincere bow. That bow is a sign of respect. And actually in our school, at the beginning ranks, I like to practice with non-contact sparring. Now, even though we have safety gear, in case our partner accidentally makes contact, we would also bow in the middle of that sparring match as well. So she would be bowing to apologize, I would be bowing to accept the apology. And once again, when the match is over, we would come back and bow again. The next rule in sparring is to protect yourself at all times. After you bow and begin your match, Kiki says, "Ay-ya! Ha!" We have our hands up, we have our knees bent, we have our eyes on our partner, and we want to stay alert and be ready for anything and everything during that sparring match. In this position, I'm ready to act or react. But if I were to drop my hands, loosen my stance, turn my eyes away from my partner, and worst of all, turn my back to my partner, then I know that I'm in big trouble because I will not be able to protect myself. Again, the rule is to always protect yourself, hands up, always alert, and eyes on our partner. The third rule in sparring relates to scoring. We can score against our opponents by throwing any kick, whether it's to the front side or the back side of our partner's body. We can also score by throwing the punch to the body as well, whether it's the front hand or the back hand, to the body. At the higher levels, we can throw kicks with control to the high section as well. 2 things you can't do. You can't throw kicks below the belt, and we can't throw our punch to the face. So once again, kicks and punches to the body, and at the senior levels, with control, kicks to the face. The fourth rule of sparring is that there is no grabbing and there's no pushing in a sparring match. Sparring is a game of controlling distance. In our matches, we can use our footwork and we can use different strategy to manage that distance, but we're not going to do so by pushing our partner or by trying to grab them and doing something. Once again, no pushing or no grabbing in any Taekwondo sparring match. The 5th rule on recreational style sparring is to stay within the area where you originally started. Now, of course, we are free to move forward or back or move to the side in any way that we want. But if our partner attacks, we're not allowed to just retreat endlessly to a different area or off the mat. And same thing, if I'm aggressive, I can't just chase my partner into a different area, or if I know that my partner is backing up against the wall, I would want to be mindful and wait until we get back to our original area so that we can train as safely as possible. Once again, when you're sparring, stay within your area. Now that we've gone over 5 rules in sparring, I want to quickly just introduce 3 different sparring scenarios or situations that happen very frequently. The first one is called closed stance. If you and your partner have the same leg back behind you, so I've got my right leg back, my partner's got her right leg back, our chest is now facing different directions, this would be considered a closed stance situation. It could be the same thing if I switch my feet and she also switches. It could be a closed stance with the left leg back as well. So anytime that we've got the same leg back, it would be considered a closed stance. On the other side, if we both have the same side together, or if I have my right leg back and she's got her left leg back, but our body is facing the same way, this would be considered an open stance. If we switch feet, our bodies are now facing this side. So basically, we can use our back leg to kick directly to our open side. That would be considered an open stance. The last scenario that I like to just share with you is something known as a clinch, which is totally allowed and legal as part of a sparring match. Oftentimes, we're trying to move forward, or we're also trying to move away from someone's attack. Or sometimes we have moments where we get a little stuck with our partner, and the best way to control the distance when our partner comes in is actually to stop the action by bringing our partner close. After a few seconds of being in a clinch, we can reset and start sparring again. So once again, sometimes the best play or the best action or strategy, rather than to back up or to move away or do a technique, is when you see our partner coming in and we're not quite ready to do anything else, a clinch may be the safest thing for both sides, actually. You can reset and begin again. If you happen to have a partner that you can train with, practice using those guidelines. Remember, start and finish each round with a bow. We want to protect ourselves at all times by keeping our hands up and eyes on our partner. We score by kicking or punching to the body. We don't punch to the face, we don't kick below the belt, and only senior belts can go high section with control. We don't grab, we don't push, and last, we want to stay in our area safely. Look for those 3 different scenarios that we talked about with open stance, closed stance, and if you need, you can control distance by using clinch as well. Here's some footage of myself and some of my former colleagues doing Olympic-style sparring with full gear. Look for some of the scenarios that we talked about and see if you can identify some of the kicks and attacks and counterattack combinations we've studied in previous sessions. I hope that by watching this video, you have a better idea of what Taekwondo sparring is all about. It requires years of practice, and you must know the rules and prepare for the different scenarios that happen, because no match and no opponent is ever the same.